church in a box.
Huh?
You're still a church in a box.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia.
Cynthia, I'm Rose.
Rose, nice to meet you. Okay, watch out. Oh, she's one of those. Dying to wolf.
We have two Rose.
Yeah, this is Rose also.
Miss Rose. Nice to meet you.
So I didn't catch you when you came in because you asked for Gideon. But before you leave, would you sign our guest book? Okay, and this is my prayer card, and then if you are so inclined to give an offering, and then we can come up during the offering, both of them.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Genesis Center for Spiritual Living. Let's stand and sing our opening song.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right
wonderful to see you all here. Genesis is a community dedicated to love, inspiring harmony, and creating connections to empower spiritual growth, and we love that you are here to share in that with us today. I am your facilitator, Dave. I'm also a practitioner here. Our online host is Cal. So say hi to Cal in the chat. And yeah, that's our welcomes today. All right. We're going on to that. We are still in the process of continuing our ministerial search, but we're getting close. So it's very, very exciting. Yeah, let's get let's cheer that on. But in the meantime, let us keep holding our consciousness and join in saying our Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer.
I recognize there is one life. This life is God's life. This life is my life now. I am one with this life and all its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for Genesis Center for Spiritual Living as a revelation of God as love. As Ernest Holmes says, I dwell in the house of love. Love attends me in my home of the soul. I shall never leave this home of the Spirit. I shall abide in this home forevermore. Feeling into this love, I experience my new minister with full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing these powerful truths about myself. I am powerfully expressing divine love, inspiring all to do the same. I am blessing and honoring all paths of spirituality, awakening deeper truths and spiritual growth. I am a place where God shows up, expressing divine love, allowing truth and joy to heal all. I am embracing, teaching, and exploring spiritual truths from diverse spiritual teachings. I am teaching and embodying prosperity, trusting that God is the source of my good. I now accept this highest expression of Spirit as myself, and I know this expression is now being revealed as the new minister that serves the highest and greatest good for Genesis. I am grateful, we are grateful, and so it is.
And so it is. Say that again. All right, and so now we'll have just a few, yes. Okay. Oh, I can hear that a little bit better now. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm echoing. All right, so now we will have some announcements here. Monday, tomorrow, is the Genesis Men's Group, hosted by me and Jim Monson. I still bless Jim Monson as he's going through his health challenges right now. The Genesis Men's Group is a place where men get together, connect with each other, and share what is going on in their lives. So if you want to be a part of that, just talk to me after service. It's a fun place. We talk about lots of fun, cool things. Beginning on September 21st, after service from 12 to 1 p.m., Karen Williams will be starting a book study with the book The Universal Christ by Richard Rohr. That's a great one. There's nothing better than taking a deep dive into a text with other people. We can process what we read together right after a fellowship. It's a drop-in and it's free. Ooh, I always say, I like free. It rhymes with me. Thank you. All right. Wednesday. Ching. Wednesday, Intention Circle. Karen L. Williams and Cynthia Zink will be leading an Intention Circle. Miracles happen when we set intentions. Please join us in creating miracles for your life, for your community, your country, and the world. Wrong slide. All right, well, I'm reading what's here, so, yeah. And we have the Science of Mind textbook in here. Slide. Yes! All right. Practitioner Kelly Williams is following a guide to read the entire Science of Mind textbook in 1 year. This is a curated guide, not a page-by-page reading. Every day you will find posted on the Facebook page, Genesis Family page. Follow along to get all of the awesome Ernest Holmes teachings. Oh, Karen, yes, that is awesome. So, that is our announcements today, and now we get to do one of the funnest part of the services. We get to stand up and meet and greet each other.
Are you a hugger?
Sure. Right there.
I love it.
Good morning. How are you? So fine. So fine. And you? Good morning. I am really Reverend Jeri. Good morning, Charlie. Intentionally.
I love it. I love that we get to stand up and hug and meet and say hi to each other. That's such a blessing. So, before we proceed any further, are there any first-time guests here today?
Little bit.
Little bit. You want to introduce yourself?
Rose Palmer.
Hello, Rose Palmer. Deborah Sapp.
Rose is a new practitioner.
A new practitioner?
Yeah,
Yes,
just
as-
licensed.
As of July 15th.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that is so perfect. Oh, and thank you for being here today. And does
Can I
any...
give a shout out to
Yes.
that person right there? He's Gideon that brought me here. Gideon, tell him.
Oh,
Yes,
we
please.
went through the Pride parade in our room where we had all the CSLs coming together in March. And unfortunately, I got sick and couldn't do it. So, but Rose put it on, and that's nice to have that amazing day together. And yeah, so she did all of that organization for us.
We did it.
Yeah.
We did it. Woo! All right, let's give a shout out for that. That is awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you. That's great. And before we proceed any further, does anyone need a prayer card? You didn't get a prayer card.
I do. I didn't.
You got it? Okay, cool. All right. So now is the time we want to thank our volunteers. Our place would never be as awesome without all the people who bring us and make this place just as cool as it is. And so I just want to express some gratitude. So our setup and cleanup crew today, which was kind of done very well at the little last minute there, but I really appreciate that. Cal and Gideon, thank you so much for that. Our morning greeter is Cynthia. We love Cynthia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we love everyone here, but you know, I don't know why I had to shout out that one today. On the projectors, Michael John's offering is Gideon. Sound tech, making me sound good and reminding me to speak into the mic so you can hear me today is Soren. So thank you for that. Online host is Cal, and our service practitioner is Randy Singer, and we love Randy. If you need a tune-up or a little prayer or a little, just a little bit of that good stuff, as you well know, the little fun prayer, just see Randy after the service, and he will be available for that. But before we proceed any further, I want you to all get up and sing our awesome, beautiful centering song, Out Beyond.
Out beyond, ideas of right and wrong, there's a field
All right. My name is Randy Singer, and I am a practitioner here. I'll be doing a quick reading, and then we'll go into some prayer. All right. So today, Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, and I will be reading from page 308. If you're following along. Arguments logically presented to mind. Arguments logically presented to mind will produce definite results. What does this statement mean? It means that we are surrounded by a universal mind which is creative, which receives the impress of our thought and acts upon it. It receives the conclusion of our thought and acts as though it were true, because it is. Hence, a mental argument logically presented to the mind in such a way that its conclusion is definite must produce a definite result. The argument should be made with a consciousness of harmony, of wholeness, of peace, of power, and of perfection. When we make the statement that God is all there is, our argument must support this statement by strong mental proof that since God is all there is nothing else. We must know that both cause and effect are spiritual, and our every argument should tend to demonstrate this position in our own thought. For whatever we demonstrate in our own thought is logically presented to mind to be acted upon and projected into form. Creative mind of itself has no specific intention as far as individuals are concerned. We give it the only intention it has for us, and the fact that we find ourselves in confused and limited circumstances instead of disproving this theory is a positive proof of it. These uncertain circumstances in which we find ourselves are themselves a direct result of confused thinking. When we reverse the process and start the proposition of the allness of good and logically present to mind or present to mind the idea that good is the only power, we shall see definite changes take place in outward manifestation.
Amen.
So yeah. All right, so let's take this moment to be specific, and we choose the good stuff. And know that right here and right now we're connected to that one spirit, that one life that is always there, always has been, always will be. And we are a great manifestation right here and right now. And we have choice about how we think about things and how it shows up and how we react or how we don't react. And that is good. And so I know right here and right now we are blessed with this bounty of goodness, and it is good. And I say thank you, God. And so it is.
So it is.
All right. And now we'll have some beautiful tunes by Cindy Akana and ChristineEss Young.
Thank you, ChristineEss and Cindy. That was absolutely fantastic.
Beautiful.
Wow. Let's give another hand for that. That was awesome. So I have the absolute privilege today of welcoming our guest speaker, Jeri Hudson. And I have this whole big, long bio page, and I'm throwing it out.
Thank you.
Because that's what she wanted, because I like the story that you said even better. And I like it because I remember that sometimes they said in the word of Spirit that sometimes Spirit whispers on her shoulders and it says, you know, hey, you should be doing this. And then we say, nope. And then Spirit says, you know, we'll shout in your ear. And it says, you know, and you say, nope, nope. And then sometimes it says, you know, and I won't use her, you know, what she said. But you know, I'll say the verbal 2x4. And we'll say, and that's what it says. And you still say no. And Spirit says, nope, I'm sorry. I'm going to do it anyway. That's Jeri. A lover of Ernest Holmes, and I know that she says that Ernest Holmes saved her life, and it's an absolutely privilege that I get to welcome, and I've heard her before, and she's awesome, Jeri Hudson, up here today.
Thank you. That was perfect. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's that? Okay. So it's interesting. I got news this morning that changed the beginning of this talk. So I'm going to ad-lib a little bit here because I was going to start with how wonderful it is that you have this new home that's yours and you're not doing church in a box. Oops. I made assumptions. We know what happens when that happens. But it's still wonderful, and it's still pertinent to what I'm going to say, that you are here. So I first knew this congregation over that way, I guess, at the old place, where it was still a shared space, but it was your space. And much like CSL Seattle, you had to move, and then you were a little nomadic, and you found a place to pitch your tent, and you stayed there for a while. And now you're pitching the tent here. And you're still on the same journey of discovering the good. I imagined that there was what I'm going to call the home team. And I bet you're still the home team. Is anybody here on the search committee? Yeah. Okay, so now we can get into the talk. So I'm going to imagine that you as the search committee are working not just in the physical locations, but you're working in consciousness to know that the good for this congregation, this church, which is you guys, not this place, you're staying there. You're staying in the good that you know is happening now, not going to happen. We cannot futurize. We have to know now what it is, and we have to stay there. I call this talk Open the Tap because we are continually turning off the flow. We get going, it's really good. We're in it. And then we're like, oh yeah, but what about that? Turn off the flow. Oh, I'm going to be in the circumstance I'm in. Turn off the flow. When I was 10, I was younger when I fell in love with old movies, but when I was 10, I saw Auntie Mame. Y'all know that movie? The Rosalind Russell one, not the poor remake with good old Lucy. That movie impressed my thought so much that here I am 56-ish years later, and I still remember the thing that she said. And she said it because she was so frustrated with the people around her that didn't understand the truth. And she very loudly, and I'm going to step back from the mic so I don't blow it out, she says, life is a banquet and most poor suckers are starving to death. And she storms off because she was gobbling life. Are you feeling a little hungry sometimes? Me too. A little thirsty? Ernest has said that God is a principle of goodness. And that goodness is always present. Your reading was so perfect. I'm always amazed at how I call God the chess master, goes like, okay, let's do all this here, and there you go. Perfect reading. James Allen, another New Thought leader, I don't know if you know his work, amazing. He said, you are today where your thoughts have brought you. And you're going to be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. So what are you thinking about? Right here in the beginning, and I want you to know, in my book, my concordance, I got the fancy leather one because it makes me feel like a good Baptist. It's tiny type. It's, I don't know, an 8 maybe? And there are 2 pages, 2 full pages on good or goodness. Mostly good. There's about this much on goodness. That's not just something that happened. He's constantly talking about the goodness of God. And he starts right here in the beginning. And I thought to myself when I was reading some of these things, it's like, is he calling me an ignoramus? Because it kind of sounds like it. I won't hold that against him because sometimes I am an ignoramus. So he says this on page 33. Nature seems to await our comprehension of her, and since she is governed by immutable laws, the ignorance of which excuses no man from their effects, the bondage of humanity, must be the result of our ignorance of the nature of reality. Then it gets really exact. The storehouse of nature, that's a capital N, that means God. The storehouse of nature may be filled with good, but this good is locked to the ignorant. So we got to start knowing that there's a good. Emma, one of Ernest's teachers, Emma Curtis Hopkins, there's a good for you, and you ought to have it. She doesn't say you should have it. She doesn't say, hey, maybe you should have some good. Ought is a contract with Spirit, and it wants to express. And if it's a principle of goodness, it wants to express its goodness. So, if he says the good is locked to the ignorant, he goes almost to the very back and he says this. I love this, because I do love the Bible. This is from Romans 13:11. Now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Paul is talking to the disciples in this passage in Romans. And he's kind of reiterating the 10 Commandments and, don't owe anybody this and all these other things that Paul thinks is important. But then he says, it's time to wake up. Ernest says it like this. The belief in a life apart from good is a dream from which we must awake. If we are to taste the waters of reality which flow from the source of life, wake up. As one awakes from nightmare, so the mentality awakes from the dream of a living death to a realization of eternal life. We cast off the works of darkness when we realize that evil is not a thing, not an entity, but a fraud. Right? This is all just bull. All these circumstances. Don't be deceived. The armor of light is the truth, the very knowing of which makes us free. I'm going to read the rest of this because it's good. This awakening is a process of evolution. A little here and a little there. Until the whole eye is opened and we see that life is neither separate from God nor different from good. Life is God, and good is the only power there is or can be. There's one life. There's one God, the all in all, the all as all, the all through all. Now that's the important part. That's the important part, through us. God does for us what it does through us because God is centered here, and it's the center to the circumference. For me, that's from the interior of my life to the exterior of my life. So I have a question for you. What do you want? I'm serious. Like, think right now. What do I want? What do I really want in my life? If you don't know at this moment, raise your hand for me so I know. So everybody knows. Yeah, it's just like that, isn't it? Okay, so here's the question, and I don't mean it to be judgy, because I ask myself the same question. What are you doing about it? How much time are you devoting to knowing that it's yours? Not wishing and hoping and someday, but in spite of facts, which are not the truth, in spite of circumstances, still knowing that the good is now because God is now. So how much time? Like, somebody say something, anything. Right. That's when you close off the tap. Perfect. Perfect example. We fight against it. Somebody told me once, quit arguing for not having your good. Why are you always arguing for not having it? I'm like, it's a little 2x4 moment. Do you spend any time doing treatment? Come on now. Come on now, practitioners. Oh, I've been a practitioner for what? 13 years. And as of yesterday, a minister for 4. And I do not treat every day. And when I'm writing this talk, I'm like, sis? He says right here, do it every day. Do it every day. Not only do it every day, quit looking for what's not here. There's a section in here that I love, the 290s. I just love the 290s, especially page 290, which I've talked about before here, right? Everything's here right now. But there's a section entitled Attracting Friends. And he's saying you should never look to see if they're here. And this is all in caps. For me, that's when Ernest is yelling. Quit looking for them. Are they here? Are they here? Are they here? Because he says the very looking for it implies our doubt, and he uses an important word. It neutralizes our word. Because our word is that part that creates. So stop it. Stop it. Me, stop it, right? And then we'll do treatment and we feel good. Feels so good. And you're like, yeah, that's right. And then what's that over there? Squirrel. Shiny object. Whew. I am in the process of replacing a patio cover from the 19-somethings. I don't even know when it was put up. The house is from 41. I know it's more modern than that because I recognize modern construction materials. However, it was supposed to be done last year. Our contractor ghosted us. Anybody know that one? It's like, just tell me you can't. Quit telling me you can. This has been this long process. They came back with a drawing. that I didn't understand based on our landscape and $30,000. I was like, oh, this is just a patio cover. I'm not going to have my life under it. Oh, we'll repair and replace. $15,000 for something I'm going to have to do again when the rest of it rots. No, I'm not doing that. But I kept knowing there's a solution. I don't know what the heck it is, but I stayed firm in that solution. And one showed up. Even my contractor was like, oh, well, look at you. And I know enough to do it myself, even though it was 3 inches bigger than my space. We do things in my house we call Jeri rigging. Hey, it works. That patio is standing right now, okay? But in putting up the patio, so I stayed true. I kept that tap open. There's a solution here that's going to work. It's going to keep all my stuff dry. It's going to give me this outdoor space. But boy, when it came to putting it up in the 1941 house, that nothing is a right angle, I had to cut off a piece of it on that side, but not on that side. How does that work? But the other day, I lost my mind. Oh, girl, I went down hard. I had been to Home Depot 3 times. I won't tell you what I call Home Depot because it's not very ministerial or nice. Although I'll take an aside here, I heard a comedian say, Gen Xers had Home Depot parents. You think there should be somebody there to help you, but there's not. That's the nice way of what I say. So I'm on my 3rd trip, and I forgot to tell you that the instructions are all pictures, not as good as IKEA pictures. And then there's 15, literally, I think 15, maybe more languages. So you're having to go, where's the English part? No offense to other speakers. I'm just like, I need this, right? So I'm on my 3rd trip to Home Depot. And I'm like, okay, Jer, come on. Just, this is good, everything. We had done this thing in Anchored in Prayer, our morning prayer group, that the pathway is paved before me with ease and happiness and joy, and let's go there, Jer. And I did for a minute. Then I came back, and it was like, oh my God. I turned to my wife and I said, I have to go inside. And she's like, okay, what are you going to do? I said, I need to phone a friend. Because I'll cry over like spiritual stuff or like tender stuff, but I don't cry over construction. I was in construction. You don't cry, you just find a way and make it happen. Oh no, I was at the point of tears. I was like, oh my God, I'm crying. I can't take this anymore. My friend picked up the phone on a hike. And the beginning of the prayer was really clear, and then it was going in and out, and it didn't matter to me that I couldn't hear what she was saying, because as soon as she started praying, I swear, as soon as she started affirming the truth, I just went, oh. And my tears stopped. They just stopped. And then it was like, I was like, yeah, I'm in agreement with that too. And there's one life. Right? But I knew, there's one mind and we're all in it, so I don't have to hear it. That's the way prayer works, right? And the patio is almost up, and I am thrilled to say that after that prayer, I felt better and I moved into knowingness. We have to know it. Ernest says we can't know anything we can't prove. And I'd like to suggest to all of us that we are constantly proving this idea of the law, whether we know it or not. And our lives are the demonstration of that knowingness. Right? So there's several places where he talks about bondage and freedom. And there's a place where he's very plain. The same law that creates bondage creates freedom. Does anyone not understand that? You understand how that works? Because it's a law. It doesn't give two shakes of a lamb's tail who's putting what into it. It can't make any decisions. It just says, well, here you go. It receives the impress of our thought, of our pattern of thought. It's the pattern of thought. It's not a single thought that's doing it. But what do? Rut, 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 right? Listen to this. Where is it? 128? 128. So good. Again, in all caps, we may change the trend of causation, that's our thoughts, which has been set in motion at any time we decide to do so. We can change it.
That's simple.
Isn't it? It's that simple. But what do? We start telling a story. There's all this goodness. There's all this goodness, and then there's that story. Aren't you sick of telling that story? Do you have a story you keep telling? Would you be willing today to either tell it to one person? Look at me, I'm all like... Would you be willing to tell it for the last time? Yeah, I had somebody ask me that once. It was like, well, then what do I talk about? Really, that's what came to me. Well, I don't know, this is a really good story. But it's utilizing law every time we tell that story. Of a family member going through, it's a shit show, okay? And it's not her. It's medical people that are confoundingly inept or something, I don't know what. And she's trapped in this story. And the other day, she's telling me the story again, and I'm like, And then I finally said, okay, I know this part. Now where are we going? And she's new to this teaching. She wants to go to the new place too. She's like, how do I stay in the truth when all of this is happening? I'm like, yep, that's the trick. That's the tough part of this teaching, right? It's not for the faint of heart. We have to do something. We're always being called to be aware. I don't know, do we still have the tagline, awake, aware, at choice? Or was that from decades ago? Well, guess what? Wake up. Turn on the tap and drink from the living waters. Look at what you just did. I saw some of you go, oh yeah. Now why is that? Why do you react that way? Because it's the truth, isn't it? Not because I said it, because it's the truth. There's living water. We need never thirst or hunger again. But our little brain likes to run down the road with us and go, remember that time? Let's go tell them about it. I just remembered I'm watching The Bear. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Oh, Lord. And I watched the Christmas episode. And one person says to another, you've told that story 1,000,000 times. Yeah, but it's a good story, but you've told it 1,000,000 times. We've told these stories over and over, so much so that they become our belief, and we don't realize it. I've told you this before, I'm going to tell it to you again because I need to hear it myself. Our thoughts that we keep thinking, well, there's our belief. If you believe you don't have friends, you're not going to have any friends. I'm just going to be straight up about it. I'm not going to be nice. If you think I don't have this, you will never have it. Never is a strong word, but I think it's true. Because the law always works. Damn it. It always works. So what do you want? Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a better relationship. Maybe for some of you, it's no relationship at all. Maybe it's harmony in your family. Maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's a new car. I need a new car. Thought I found the perfect car, but I didn't have the insurance money yet, so I didn't reserve it. I didn't know I could, and it's gone. And dang. Now I could go into, well, there aren't any used cars in Seattle. I have to get one in California, blah, 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 yeah. Or I could say, and I am, my perfect car is looking for me. I want a brand new car. I want something that's been broken in a little bit. Had the kinks worked out. Nice low mileage hybrid. Yeah, I really didn't want a white car. Oh, wow.
There it is.
Oops, there it is. Oh my goodness. See? It's nefarious. And I actually said, well, it's white. I don't really want a white car, but what did the law hear? She doesn't want a white car. Yeah, but it has all the things that she wants. She doesn't want a white car. Yeah, but she can plug it in. She doesn't even have a plug outside. Wow. Thank you, Genesis. I'm healed. Yep, right? And it's that little. I didn't even see it. Right? It's those little things. There's a place where, and I don't know, I've read so many things over the last few days. They're so good. There's a place where it's like, just keep knowing the truth and be free. He said the secret. I love when he says it's a secret, because I always go like, what? What are you saying? The secret to it all is to know the presence of God. That's it. Because when we know, not hope, know the presence of God, then all things are possible. All things are possible before that, but not for me until I know it. Does that make sense? I mean, there's a lot of electricity that's not being used. There were microwaves and radio waves in the time of Moses. They didn't know that, right? What are we not using? It's like there's a big dam and we're letting some little tiny trickle out, when it could just be a flood of goodness. A flood. So I have this fabulous little book, Treatment, what it is and how to do it. And even if you're a practitioner and you've been praying for years, I encourage you to get this, because Barker puts it so plainly. You can still get this. It was in its 23rd printing 20 years ago, and they're still printing it. I think somebody thinks it's a good thing. $4.50, and it's yours, give or take shipping. What it is and how to do it, and he makes it so plain. And at the very back, he says this: final suggestions. Treatment can be done anywhere at any time under any circumstances. However, to ensure results and to guarantee growth in spiritual understanding, knowing, it is advisable to assign a definite period each day for specific mental work. I don't do that. Does anybody, is there any practitioner or any person here that has a specific time of day that they do treatment? Yeah. Not me either. I just read this the other day. I was like, dang, Ray. It is wise to cover the following points in your daily routine, your daily outline: fear, age, disease, lack, and inharmony. Get the big ones out of the way. Then add to your treatment whatever needs to be cleared for that day, always remembering that we deny the specific evil and affirm its opposite, the eternal positive. Between these periods of daily meditation, watch your thought constantly. Be on guard. And whenever a negative appears, stop it at once with a strong denial followed by an affirmation. I love this. To all error, say, there is not a word of truth in it, and it never happened. That's bold. But he was bold. He had bold results. Be faithful unto God, and his glory shall be in you and shall come forth through you, bringing into manifestation your heart's desire. If you don't know how to treat, buy this book. If you know how to treat, buy this book. It's just a different, and he includes denials. He has a 7-step process as well. He's a great book called Treat Yourself to Life. So, knowing that God can only do for us what it does through us, we have to open the tap of goodness. Let it flow. I had this image. I'm a visual thinker. I had this image a few years ago. It was like, oh, right. The inside of the pipe gets wet before the ground gets wet. Let the water flow. It nourishes you and then nourishes your life, nourishes the people around you. Because they feel different because you're different. Don't commiserate with people. Like, stop commiserating. You're like, oh, I know, it's so terrible. You can be compassionate and empathetic without commiseration. Because what are you doing? You're doing the shiny object over there instead of there's a good for you. You can let them tell their story and encourage them not to. And say to yourself, I don't believe a word of it. I believe in God. Not in a, like, I believe in God kind of way, but you know what I mean? Like, oh, I believe in God. But like, really, do you believe in God? You're here, I'm kind of thinking you must. There's plenty of things to do on a Sunday morning. You must believe in God. So then allow God to be what it is. The principle of goodness. Open the tap, run through the sprinkler. Run around like you're a kid on a hot day in the sprinkler of goodness. And I made these little papers. Here, just take one and pass them down. There's plenty. I really love the meditations for self-help. Do you know that section in Science of Mind? Back at the end of all of it, oh my God, they're so good. And I came across this one just this morning. I like to tell you what to do. I really do believe that we have to do something, and so I like to give myself something to do. And I came across this, and it seems like this is something, you have one? Good. This is something we could do together and see what happens. I'm a fan of experimentation. It's science. Speaking of science, in the way it works, the realization that good is universal and that as much good as any individual is able to incorporate in his life is his to use And it's what constitutes the science of mind and spirit. The realization that good is universal. The whole reason for this book. And the secret is to know the presence of God. So I found this one, and it's called, I Shall Keep the Promise That I Made to Myself. No, it's not. I can't remember what it's called. That's the first line. I shall keep the promise that I've made to myself. I shall never again tell myself that I am poor, sick, weak, nor unhappy. I shall not lie to myself anymore, but shall speak the truth to my inner soul, telling it that it is wonderful and marvelous, that it is one with the great cause of all life, truth, power, and action. I shall whisper these things into my soul until it breaks forth into song of joy with the realization of its limitless possibilities. I shall assure my soul. Would you be willing to assure yourself every day? I mean, every day. We do all kinds of other stuff every day. Why not this? Why not do something that's going to cause good? Think about it. You don't have to tell me yes or no. But if you're saying no, you need to ask yourself why. Because the why is important. The why is important. Why wouldn't I do this? It's like, 5 sentences maybe. And then rest in the assurance of truth. Quit turning off the faucet. And let this be what you do instead. I'm going to drink. I'm going to drink from the fire hose. Yeah, why not? Sorry. Forget how loud this is. So let's pray here. I'm feeling called to pray here. Music. Notes. Melody. Oh God. The sequence, God. The instrument, God. The hand, God. The stool, the rug, the chair we sit in, this podium, the string on my wrist, the brilliant sun, the gorgeous planets, all God. Me, you, God. And I know that God is the principle of goodness. I have seen it over and over and over in my life, and so I know it. I know it to be true. And so I look for the good. I look for God. And I find it. And the face looking back at me, the people that support my life, people I'll never meet in support of my life. Hundreds and thousands of people that touch me every day through objects and circumstances. I call it all good. I accept that it is mine, and I know that it is yours. We can't be outside of it. And so I wake up this day, I wake up into this new day, this new life, and I use it for good. This is what God would have me do. This is what God would do through me and through you. These urges, God expressing. So I rest in the ease of it. I commit to the doing, to train myself to quit looking and find God instead. Quit looking for what's not here and see God. Know the presence. Know the life and the power and the joy and the peace and the harmony is mine and is yours. And let go. And so it is.
In which we can offer our prayers. And I think that I'm just going to go off cuff here and say that that was the absolute perfect message to bless us into our prayers, opening our tap, opening ourselves to the consciousness of that absolute good that is within us. Thank you so much for that. What an inspiration. taking that consciousness. Taking that consciousness, and we know that our center is supported by God. And we welcome to be part of how God's support shows up. If you're on Facebook, you can visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can text your tithe to 206. Well, you have the number up there. So let's take a moment and craft our financial gift for Genesis. So I'll now invite us all to take our prayers and our offerings, and we'll hold them to our heart, and we'll together say our blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. Gideon will go around and collect our offerings this week. See, God is my source.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
God just truly does give us everything we need, and so I just bless these offerings, I bless these gifts, knowing that they are the source of our good, and knowing that they are multiplied in our hearts, and knowing truly that the law and the universe and the spirit is saying absolutely yes to it all. And so it is.
So it is.
Let us stand and sing our closing song, our release. Thank you all for being here.
I release and I let go. I let